My name is Bushavli and I am here to take you on a pilgrimage to all the graves of the Indian soldiers in Belgium. Come with me. The identified soldiers who were buried or cremated have their own headstones. All the missing soldiers who fought in the various Ypres battles, they are 412 in numbers and all their names are inscribed here in Menin Gate. Just beside Menin Gate is this memorial for Indian soldiers, and in front of it is the Gurkha monument for the Nepali soldiers as well. There are three major types of headstones of the Indian soldiers. One is the Hindu headstones in Hindi language, which says Om Bhagavate Namaha, which means we bow to you, God. And then the Sikh headstones in Punjabi, which says Vaheguru Ji Ke Fateh, which means victory to God. And below the name of the soldier, it's written Sanskare Gaye, which means has been cremated. The Muslim headstones are written in Arabic. Atop it's written Hawal Ghafoor, which means the ever forgiving Allah. And at the base it's written Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un, which means we belong to Allah and to Him we shall return. And then there are the unknown soldiers, on whose headstone it's written an Indian soldier of the Great War, and if the regiment is known, the regiment is also specified. Here's the thing that you have to note. The chant here does not signify the religion of the soldier. This is the war cry, and if the religion of the soldier is known, then that is specified here. The following Hindu soldier, or the following Sikh soldier, the following Muslim soldier. The soldier's religion and the war cry need not be the same. He may have served a different regiment that's different from his own personal religion. If the soldier's religion is unknown, this section, which signifies the personal religion of the soldier, is missing. A soldier of the Great War, known unto God. So wherever you see, whenever we find an Indian grave or a grave with the name, it means that the person died in the hospital, or it means the person died with the uniform intact, where his name, his identity could be confirmed, or at least died with the uniform such that the nationality or the regiment could be confirmed. If nothing is there, if that's just the body, if it's just the bones or decayed body, then you can't confirm anything. It's just a soldier of the Great War, known unto God. So all the missing soldiers, of the 75,000 Indian soldiers who died in the First World War in Europe, only few were identified, cremated, buried. The rest, they don't know. There could be any of these. They could be in any of these. So whenever you see a war grave, Pay your respects, please. So every cemetery has this cemetery register. So that's something like this. So right now we are in the Bedford House Cemetery, and this is the cemetery register. And here, the first few pages is this information. First World War, Second World War, nationality split by war, and here you have Indian, 8 known, 13 unknown in the First World War. There are no Indians in the Second World War, so Indian, 8, 13, and none in Air Force, Navy, Merchant Navy or anything else, just Army. And then you can find that information where they are located here. So every soldier's information is here. For example, Fazildad. Fazildad is here. Fazildad, Sepoy, and all his information, and enclosure number 4, B7. So we have to find the enclosure number 4 here. So this enclosure number 4, special memorials. So where is the enclosure number 4? It is here. We go to that point. This is something you have to check as soon as you enter each and every cemetery to find the location of the particular graves. We are in Legenstok Military Cemetery in Poperinge, very close to Ypres, and this is the grave of Hardit Singh, and he was a sowar in the 21st Cavalry Indian Army, and he was the son of Chanan Singh of Ugoki Barnala in Patiala, Punjab. And here it's written in Punjabi, so it's I asked a friend of mine and she has translated it to Vahe Guruji Ki Fateh, and the following Sikh soldier of the Indian Army is honored here. This is the grave of Susai, and he was a driver in the Royal Field Artillery, and there is no other information about him. Om Bhagavate Namaha. The following Hindu soldier of the Indian Army is honored here. We are in Nine Elms Cemetery in Poperinge, very close to Ypres, and there is one grave of an Indian soldier in this cemetery. This says Om Bhagavate Namaha. The following Hindu soldier of the Indian Army is honored here. He was a driver, Raghunandan. He was with the Royal Artillery, and we have no other information about him, and he died on 16th August 1918. We are in a Grootebek military British cemetery, and it's close to Ypres, and there are graves of 7 soldiers here, and they are mainly from Rawalpindi. Rawalpindi is in present-day Pakistan, and this happened in 1914, 1918, and our independence happened in 1947, solid more than 3 decades later, and we don't know whether their family was in Pakistan, India, in current-day Pakistan, India, or Afghanistan. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. They are our soldiers, our ancestors who lost their lives in this faraway land, so far away from their families. Just come down here, pay your respects to these 7 soldiers. You know, it doesn't matter if you're from India or Pakistan or Afghanistan or Bangladesh or Sri Lanka, just come. The first one is of Ali Haider. He was the Havildar of the 52nd Sikh Frontier Force, and he died on 29th April 1915. It's written in I'm really sorry, I cannot identify this. This is Urdu or Arabic. I do not know. If you know, please let me know. He was the son of Nek Bhakt of Mathur Khanta, Rawalpindi in Punjab, India. And this is the grave of Munsaf Dhar. He was a sepoy with the 84th Punjabis Regiment, and he died on 27th April 1915. And Munsaf Dhar was the son of Mirzo of Ara, Rawalpindi, Punjab, India. And the next one right here is of Muhammad Elahi. Was the sepoy on Connaught's own Baluchis, the Duke of Connaught's own 129th Baluchis, and he died in 27th April 1915. He was the son of Madhad Khan and Ashra Begum of Sehawana Muri in Rawalpindi, Punjab, India. And the next one right here is of Lalak. I'm assuming it's Lalak. There's a space between La and Lak, and I'm assuming this is Lalak. And he was the Nayak in the 57th Wild Rifle in Frontier Force, Wild Rifle Frontier Force, and he died on 27th April 1915 as well. And he was the son of Jumma Khan of Bathai, Tira of Fort Lockhart, Northwest Frontier, India. And the next here is of Feroz. He was a sepoy. He was the husband of Sahib B of Lahiri Khanta, Rawalpindi, Punjab, India. Feroz. And then we have 2 more graves here. The first one is of Sharif Khan, Delhi Tira, Punjabi Rifle Frontier Force, Lucknow, Punjabi Frontier, Pewa Kotal, Afghanistan, 1878-79. Of course, British Raj, it was under India, very much India. This is Sharif Khan. Sharif Khan, he was a sepoy with the 56th Punjabi Rifles Frontier Force. He was the father of Yaqub Khan. Oh my God, Yaqub Khan. He lost his father. Yaqub Khan lost his father. He was the father of Yaqub Khan of Chijana, Kotli, Rawalpindi, Punjab, India. And then this is Sardar Khan. Sardar Khan was the sepoy with the 52nd Sikh Frontier Force, and he was the husband of Sahib Noor of Dhera, Pind Dadan Khan, Jhelum, Punjab, India. We are in Vlamertinge Military Cemetery, very close to Ypres. This is the grave of, there is only one grave, one Indian grave in this cemetery, and this is the grave of Subedar Fateh Jang. He was with the 57th Wild Rifle Frontier Force, and he was the husband of Noor Begum of Mattur village, Kahuta in Rawalpindi. We are in Belgian Battery Corner Cemetery, and there are two graves of Indian soldiers here. Says Om Bhagavate Namaha. The following Hindu soldier of the Indian Army is honored here. This is the grave of Kirpa. He was a driver with Indian Royal Artillery from the Ambala depot. And this says Om Bhagavate Namaha. The following Hindu soldier of the Indian Army is honored here. This is Lance Nayak Dhani Ram, and he is from the Indian Royal Artillery Regiment of the Jabalpur depot. We are in the Hut Cemetery, and there is one grave of Indian soldier, and this says Om Bhagavate Namaha. The following Hindu soldier of the Indian Army is honored here, and this is the grave of Jagan Lal. He was a Nayak in the Indian Royal Artillery in the Roorkee depot. Roorkee would be present-day Uttarakhand. This is Bedford House Cemetery, and there are graves of 8 identified Indian soldiers and 13 unidentified Indian soldiers. So the first grave here is of Hashmat Ali. Hashmat Ali was a sepoy in the 84th Punjabis regiment, and he was the husband of Gulab Begum of Kohala, Plamdhari, Panch state in Punjab. This is the grave of Krishna Singh. Written here is Vahe Guruji Ke Fateh Sanskre Gaye. Krishna Singh was a sepoy with the 21st Punjabis regiment, and he was the son of Sundar Singh of Bhal Khurd, Oghi, Jalandhar, Punjab. This first one is of Akka. Akka was a sepoy in Connaught's own Baluchis, and he died on 26th April 1915. It says Abdul Wahidani, Sarwakai, Wana, South Waziristan, Northwest Provinces. This is Khan Muhammad Jamedar. He was Jamedar in the 57th World Rifles Frontier Force, and he was the father of Muhammad Iqbal of Dhamali, Rawalpindi, Punjab. Muhammad Iqbal, the father of Muhammad Iqbal. This is the grave of Meher Khan. Meher Khan was a sepoy in the 57th Wild Rifles Frontier Force, and he died on between 23rd October and 1st November 1914. He was the son of Rajbi of Khurramkhur, the Gujar Khan in Rawalpindi, Punjab. And this is the grave of Fazl Dad. Fazl Dad was the sepoy in the 57th Wild Rifle Frontier Force, and he was the husband of Mosam B of Kanoha, Kallam, Rawalpindi, Punjab. This is the grave of Abdullah Beg. He was a Sowar in the 6th King Edward's own cavalry, and he was the husband of Jean of Kalyana Chakri Dhadri, Jind state in Punjab. We are in a Xanthowood British cemetery. So there's a grave of one Indian soldier. It says Om Bhagavate Namaha. The following Hindu soldier of the Indian Army is honored here. He was a cook. This is the grave of Sher Singh. He was a cook. In CWGC's website it's written follower, and here it's written cook. Follower, Central Depot, 34th Division. And he died on 2nd October 1918. We are in the railway dugouts burial ground in close to Ypres. And there are 4 graves of Indian soldiers, 1 identified and 3 unidentified. So the first one here, the identified soldier. This is the grave of Devi Singh. He was a Nayak in 40th Pathan's regiment, and he died on 26th April 1915. This one says, a soldier of the Great War, unknown Indian, Maler Kotla I.S. Sapers. This is a Sikh soldier of the Great War, 50th Ludhiana Sikhs. Wahe Guruji ke Fateh, Sanskare gaye in Punjabi. And Om Bhagavate Namaha. This Hindu soldier of the Indian Army is honored here, a great soldier of the Great War, unknown Indian 4th Gurkha Rifles. This could be a Nepali as well, because as I just already told you, during this war, there was no difference between India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Nepal. No, nothing mattered. Our soldiers. We are a new Irish farm cemetery, and there is 1 grave of an Indian soldier. This is the grave of Thek Singh. It's written Om Bhagavate Namaha. The following Hindu soldier of the Indian Army is honored here. This is Thek Singh. He was a sepoy in the 57th Wild Rifles Frontier Force, and he died on 26th April 1915. We are in Yip Reservoir Cemetery, and there is 1 grave of an Indian soldier here. This says Om Bhagavate Namaha. This is a grave of Driver Puran. He was with the Royal Artillery Regiment, and he died on 12th October 1918, and we have no other information about him. We are right now in the Tournai Communal Cemetery, and there are 4 graves of Indian soldiers here, and in 3 burials. The first one, and on top of it, all of it, it's written Om Bhagavate Namaha. These Hindu soldiers of the Indian Army are honored here. The first grave is of gunners. This is a single burial of 2 soldiers, and both of them are gunners. Maharaj Din and Dhan Singh, both of them belong to the Royal Artillery. Is a gunner in the 37th Division Ammunition, and he is from Muzaffarkhana, Sultanpur. And Dhan Singh is from Jaidaspur, Girmor, Badhaon. Both of these are in Uttar Pradesh. And the next is, this grave is of Baldev Singh. He was a driver in the Royal Artillery. And there is no other information about Baldev Singh, and this grave is of Jatane from the Royal Field Artillery, and he was from the 37th Division of Ammunition. He is from Azamgarh, India. Om Bhagavate Namaha. This is the grave of driver Abdullah. He was with the Royal Artillery, and he was in the 62nd Division Ammunition Regiment, and he died on 18th December 1918. Om Bhagavate Namaha. This is the grave of Chandnain. He was a gunner with the Royal Artillery, and in the Roorkee depot, and he was the father of Girdhari of Basai, Saki in Bareilly, UP, and he died on 22nd March 1919. Om Bhagavate Namaha. This is At Communal Cemetery, and there are three graves of Indian soldiers in this cemetery. The first one is of driver Mahipat. He belonged to the Indian Royal Artillery, and he is from Bombay, East Khandesh. He was the brother of Kishan of Khadki, Chalisgaon, East Khandesh in Mumbai, and he died on 19 February 1919. Om Bhagavate Namaha. This Hindu soldier of the Indian Army is honored here. This is Gunner Baldev Singh, Royal Artillery. He was a gunner in the Indian Royal Artillery, and he is from UP. He is from Begambad, Ghaziabad, Meerut in UP. And he died on 27th November 1918. Om Bhagavate Namaha. This is the grave of Dhani Ram. He was a driver in the Indian Royal Artillery, and he was the son of Mast Ramo of Barha in Bagh in Agra, UP. And he died on 21st February 1919.
Ah
Bhagavate Namaha. This is the grave of Natha. So this is Hal Communal Cemetery, and this is Natha. He was the driver with the Royal Horse and Field Artillery in Indian Army. He was with ammunition. This is the only Indian grave in Hal Communal Cemetery. Apart from the cemeteries, there are two important memorials for Indians to visit in Belgium. One is Meningate and the other is this. We see Khudadad Khan Memorial in Hollebeek. This is the spot where Khudadad Khan fought, because of which he was awarded the Victoria Cross. Victoria Cross is the British equivalent of our Paramveer Chakra, and it's the highest Supreme Bravery Award which is given to the British soldiers, and it was also given to Indian soldiers from 1911.